everybody. Happy Friday to you. Shabbat Shalom to those who observe. Whew, what a week. What a week. A lot of stuff going on. I'm sure people who actually have busy lives can relate, trying to juggle the work, the life, and everything else balance, right? My surgery is healing quite well. So cool. Thank you, Lord. I am a little bit later coming on today, but interesting week. No matter how crappy my week was, though, I'm not Kamala Harris. I'm not running for president. I'm not either one of these political candidates, right? I don't have bullets flying at me, missing me, coordinating with me. Thank you, Lord. Please protect me from the evil folks. Please protect me from the evil or Dodgers or Yankees World Series. I don't follow baseball. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I do follow politics and I do follow other things that may be of importance to you. And right now, I feel like, and I said this in my live stream last night, and I feel like the Democrats, I feel like these people watch my content because I feel like I'm out here telling the absolute truth how these things are playing out. And then all of a sudden, it's like the next day, I'm seeing these networks like concede to the same truths that I'm just saying out there boldly. So maybe I'm helping them come to reason. We should pray. But, here Kamala Harris does this CNN town hall. And I was bitching about the fact that Anderson Cooper allowed her to make that whole thing about Donald Trump. Like, that was like weird for me. I'm like, she keeps talking about Trump. She is all about Trump. This is like, talk about yourself, right? But for some reason, even with all those flowers that Anderson Cooper gave her with that town hall, because he pretty much let her free for all with some setup questions, some softball layup questions that I'm pretty sure were pre-planned because she had a Martin Luther King speech for every single response. None of her responses were like organic, off the top of my head, not rehearsed. So I just thought that CNN town hall was just a big, like, Donald Trump bashing, right? And Anderson Cooper really didn't stop her from just bashing Donald Trump. So it is kind of perplexing to see when I'm looking at my news feeds, Anderson Cooper School, Charlamagne the God, and I'm like, well, what the hell is Charlamagne saying today? So let's listen to what Charlamagne, because he's coping right now. I think he's coping, and I'll tell you why some of these black Democratic shills are coping right now, because their influence is waning. If people like Charlemagne can't get on a mic and convince black people, black men to do little certain things, what good is he in these machines? Because he's a puppet too. He's a shill. So he's coping, right? And now he's kind of playing this card with CNN where he believes that they're not really centering on Trump being a fascist enough. I mean, this cope is so ridiculous. I'm just like, dude, just sit back and see if your girl take the L or not, because you're not even making any sense.
I think that her saying that she believes Donald Trump is a fascist got a lot of headlines because it was the first time that she said it. She's been going on for days saying Mark Milley said he's a fascist. This person said this.
She's been talking about Donald Trump nonstop
in your interview with her, and that was an authentic moment where she says, "Yeah, I do think he's a fascist," and I think that's why it had a reaction. Donald Trump, he for whatever you think about him, if you like him, if you hate him, he is certainly who he is. He's shown us who he is.
Haven't I been saying that, y'all? Have I not been saying that? No matter what you think about Donald Trump, he has been his organic self this entire time, his entire life. Like, even when he ran in the political space, He did not deviate his character. He did not Manchurian candidate into some other type of person. The dude has been himself. Regardless of if you like his personality or not, at least he's been consistent. And that's the thing with Kamala Harris, you don't know who she is. And this is what I've been saying. It's not about hating on this woman, right? It's about you don't know who this person is. I don't care that you are prosecutors. Prosecutors can be corrupt. Okay? I don't care if you're attorney general, they can be corrupt too. Who are you? What are your core values? What are your ethics? What are the codes that you stand by? She's so rehearsed that anything she says just gives off as scripted and rehearsed. It's not feeling like it's coming from an organic place. And this is what people are seeing from her. This is where I think the disconnect was with Kamala Harris. In her first run, nobody could gauge who she really was.
Every single day.
Yeah, which is a fascist, and it's crazy because you still don't have news networks having that conversation. Like when somebody says, when somebody questions Kamala Harris's blackness or is she a DEI hire, y'all will have roundtable discussions about that, asking that question. How come you're not having roundtable discussions asking is Donald Trump a fascist? Actually, not even asking it, stating it. I mean, when you look.
But Anderson Cooper did challenge Kamala Harris in the town hall. You said you believe that Donald Trump is a fascist. He gave her plenty of opportunity to expand on that, put that out there, plug that, try to convince those independent voters that were in the audience that Donald Trump was a fascist. And all she just said was, yes, I believe that. And I don't know what else she went into, but her word salads kind of throw my brain off I don't know where she goes from A to B sometimes. So it's like my ADD checks out.
When you look at the things that he's talking about doing, jailing journalists, jailing his political opponents, turning the military on American citizens. The guy said he wanted to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. How come that is not the topic of discussion on networks like CNN every day?
But do you think that, you were raising this with Kamala Harris about her own authenticity, about her own willingness to just, say things that aren't
crafted. See, these are her people, right? This is CNN. This is the Democrat machine, right? They know that she has been robotically scripted. They know that she has been puppeted this whole damn way, right? Now they have to concede that this is why they're losing it, because they don't have an organic, charismatic candidate. They have a puppet. They have a puppet.
Trump's going to go.
She's not Nina Turner. She's not Nina Turner. There's a difference in the types of characters of a Nina Turner and a Kamala Harris. These are not the same lions. You got a lioness and a sheep. They're not the same.
Apparently, Trump's going on.
Like Kamala Harris was just force-fed on the public. They had nobody else. Biden was just weekend at Bernie's. They couldn't deal with Bernie anymore. I'm pretty sure they're running out of adrenochrome because they're cracking down on all the child trafficking. So they're like, oh God, what do? We can't go with him anymore. These people are freaking weird anyways.
People in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country? Whenever somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country, everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic. But a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election and nobody cares. Like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson.
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
See, I think that, I get with the Black Brulee. They're worried. Obviously, they are worried, right? Because it's like you only got one job as the tokens of the Democrats, and that's just to convince Black people of what to do. And unfortunately, a lot of Black people have woke up and have kind of loosened the chains, left the cage of irrationality, if you will, And so their power, their influence over a lot of next gen, new gen, especially your 40 plus black people, it's just not there. It's just not there anymore. And maybe Democrats should thank themselves for breaking up our families, right? Because as you broke up our families, you also broke up all that generational rhetoric that was passed down from one group to the next. So we got a lot of more independent thinking black people in these newer generations. And they're just not buying the old bullshit anymore. And I think Charlemagne is, he's coping, right? But he has to concede. Like I feel like the Democrats now they're kind of, I don't know if they're finger pointing at this point, but let's hear what Chris Christie got to say, right? Because I mean, these are all champions, right? They're all champions for the party. What do you feel about Kamala Harris, Krispy Kreme Christie?
That's why I think
You
that
think
what the
so?
vice president's doing now should be focused exclusively on closing the deal about why she would be the best president. Saying that Donald Trump is awful and a fascist and all the rest of that, I don't disagree with any of it.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
those people are already sold.
So you don't
If you
think-
believe that they're sold, it's done.
So who do you think
That
is
was
going to
my-
win? Who's going to win?
Look, 10 days ago, I would have told you that she's going to win.
And now?
And I think she's had a bad 10 days.
Why?
Now,
Because I
her
don't.
own people are saying that it's not looking good. So for all you little haters, yesterday talk about you're jealous of her. She's a smart, educated prosecutor. I don't care if she was the Pope's angel, right? She's losing right now. She's losing. She is losing because she has not been sold. She has not been packaged the right way. She hasn't been packaged the right
I don't
way.
think there's advantage and disadvantage to having come in the race as late as she did. The advantage is she didn't have to go through all the primaries and go through all that goes on that wears you down a bit. But the disadvantage is people don't know her.
Yeah, so you say that you heard that.
And this is Black conservative perspective showing this. People don't know her. People don't know her. Okay, that is what it is. And she's ambiguous. And like I said, the Democrats, they deserve where she stands right now, and they deserve to lose this election. Because again, they keep propping up these inorganic, non-charismatic puppet type people who check a box on their little diversity segment groups or whatever, and they try to run with this person. Kamala Harris was a good choice because they could get the Asian Americans, and they could possibly trick the black people into believing that she was one of theirs as well. And it didn't work out well for her. It didn't work out well. So you got these Democratic shills like Charlamagne, these HBCU, these, committed Democrat plantation people, right? They're all vilifying black people right now. The black people who choose not to go their way, right? Because their plantation, what they call them, they're like the little black supervisors, right? They're like, oh God, there's more of them leaving the plantation, master. What do we do? It's like, that's your damn job to keep them all in line. You better do your job, ninja. And Charlamagne is like, well, you guys need to talk about him being more fascist, make black people believe that. Like, I mean, it's just too late. It's too late. Even their little black faces can't save Kamala Harris. And they keep talking about, people always talk about, she's not black. It's like, if you want to accept her as black, Charlamagne, you do that. You do that, right? But there's a lot of black people that are not accepting her as black. And, if she had a black husband, maybe she would be a little bit more believable, but she don't. She ain't even got no nappy headed kids running around here with no 4-H hair. So anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. I wanted to kind of talk really quickly, and this is not on politics, but this is really about how I have observed the music industry working. So obviously, people heard that the rapper Lil Durk has been indicted, right, on possible conspiracy to commit murder charges, right? And I've said this for a while. This is just my observation. It's a pattern observation, but I do believe strongly that it's true. You look at these dudes that they were pulling into the hip hop game. These young men were coming from gang culture life. And they did that for a reason because they could leverage these guys' talents and they could either knock them off after they were able to make a little money off of them or they can get them RICO'd, right? So when it comes to these rappers catching these RICOs, and I'm not saying that they don't deserve them, but these music executives and all these little leeches, they knew what their lifestyles were before they even signed these guys. They even promoted these guys singing about their lifestyle on the streets before fame, right? And this is how they have been leveraging these guys like Lil Durk, Lil Baby. And when these guys can't sell or when they're not making enough money for them, right? Then obviously they 86 them. They didn't get a return on their investment. It was a loss, right? And I think, who was it? Was it Lil Durk where Kanye bought him out of his deal? I think Kanye ended up saving Dirk out of his contract. Let me see. From deal. Let's see. Kanye was reportedly. Let me see. Here it is. There it is. That's what I wanted. According to a November 2023 TMZ article, Kanye West was reportedly looking to buy out Lil Durk's record contract with Alamo Records. The article claims that the CEO, Tad Moskowitz, refused to clear Durk for another record he worked on for West's upcoming album. Neither party has confirmed or denied the possibility of a deal. So it looks like Kanye was trying to buy Dirk out of his contract. So Dirk was definitely trying to get out. Um, and when you try to get out of these deals, sometimes these people don't like this. They want to control you.
You give damn who's elected president, and
Yeah,
I'm asking
that
you.
president is a fascist. That's talking about putting people in camps. That's talking about, once again, terminating the Constitution to overthrow.
I really do believe they brought Charlamagne on CNN today to sort of just kind of reinforce the fear strategies, tactics that Kamala had, like basically was touting at her town hall. He's a fascist. He's dangerous. These generals, they all signed this petition saying that he's gonna kill us all or some shit like that. It's like, I think they just brought him on here to cope, right?
An election that's
They got Angela Rye there too. These little brulee black people.
Doesn't scare people.
We talk about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been
y'all
talking about
it
this
enough.
every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about Donald Trump being a fascist.
Well,
am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
That's
Go ahead, Anderson.
No. I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Okay.
But to say that we're sitting around discussing is Kamala Harris black,
I've seen that. I've seen
that's
those roundtable
definitely
discussions
on.
a lot. Now
That's
that's
true.
bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody is.
I'm not saying
Kamala
you.
Harris
I said
Not
the
you.
network.
He said the network. He
I don't
did
think
say the
anyone
network.
I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying is she black?
Y'all never
It's
had a.
definitely.
We have had. Look, I'm sure we have had, nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who
Yeah.
somewhere on some panel have said something, but
Yeah.
I will just
But
speak
even-
up for what I do on the show. I do believe
Those
it's
people
important
aren't
to
nutty,
people with different
Anderson.
viewpoints, as long as
They're
they're willing
just
to have a
telling the
legitimate
truth.
conversation.
Are
It's a
truth tellers
what
now
I don't
nutty?
like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe, and those are people I tried to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
I think no network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night.
Really? I just feel like Trump has been vilified, like across media spectrums. It even seemed like Fox turned on him for a second. I don't understand where Charlamagne, where's his little bitching coming
between
from?
Donald Trump and the vice president, but it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I mean, I don't know what you've been watching, but like, I don't know of any Trump supporters out there or people who like him who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, to be validated in their opinions. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I
don't think it's about validating. What you mean, validating the Trump?
Well, you're saying like that we're not, that I guess you're saying I'm not discussing all the things he is saying and doing and pointing it out and talking to.
So is this like a way for like black media to hold white media accountable for the things that they're not talking about in relation to Kamala Harris? This is a perplexing cope for me. I don't really understand what is the whole purpose of CNN even having this dialogue between Charlamagne and Anderson Cooper at all, right? Like, I really don't understand where they are going with this dialogue, because it seems like let's get Charlamagne the God on here to just bitch about how this media outlet is not talking enough about how Donald Trump is a fascist. And it's like, bro, we just hosted a town hall so that we could let Kamala Harris talk about how Donald Trump is a fascist. And she basically used her whole town hall to vilify and talk shit about Donald Trump. If I were Anderson Cooper, it's like, God damn it, what more do you want? Like, this is like where you would get like the racist white guy to the point where he's not trying to be racist, but it's like, God, what more do you people want? And then Charlamagne and Andrew like, you people. And it's like, I'm just talking about people that think like you. It doesn't mean your color. You got him cleaning up because now you're frustrating his ass, because it's like, God damn, I just gave you a whole town hall.
John Kelly, I mean, this has been discussed. There's nobody, let me just say, there is nobody on the planet who has not heard and seen pretty much everything Donald Trump has said and knows.
I don't believe that.
Knows,
I don't believe that.
Well, knows who he is, whether they believe it or not, whether they care or not.
When the vice president said that to you last night, she said, "I don't think enough people know." I 100% believe enough people have not heard his rhetoric. What do you think, Angela?
I was just about to say, can y'all tag me in? I'm never doing this with y'all ever again.
Angela, yes. It's the problem of being on satellite. Yes.
I know, it is the problem. No, I was just going to say, I think what you're saying is fair, that there have been roundtable discussions where y'all raised this. I think the problem is, it would be nice for, you to cut to camera and say, I'm looking right here, right now. Y'all, Kamala Harris is a black woman.
But
let's move right along.
Yeah,
but
this is a cope. This is such a cope. Their black brulees are probably nervous, right? Their influence is waning. They're going to their Democrat daddies, and they're like, you guys got to do more. Like, I mean, we can't say he's a fascist. You guys got to say he's a fascist. It's like, I don't.
But I was gonna say to your colleague's credit, Jake, right after the town hall.
I mean, it's like, I don't understand why the name calling is news, anyways. Why do they want CNN to do that?
He said that you all had the opportunity to critique what Kamala Harris' policy proposals were, what her positions were, what her recommendations were, whether or not she answered her question fair enough, because, ta-da, she's the only one that showed up for the town hall. Yeah. It was supposed to be a debate. He said that. I think that the point is we don't hear those things enough, and it has been a threat. We cannot say, Kamala is going on with Joe Rogan, Donald Trump is going on with Joe Rogan, but Kamala's choosing Club Shay Shay. Debate it. Like, it's like, what is he going to say when he goes on?
Here's what I've been saying, which is, it is a double standard, because Kamala Harris has policies, and she talks about her policies. And you may think she doesn't talk in detail enough about her policies, and plenty do. And I pushed her on that last night. I quizzed. I try to look at the policies from different, but she's got stated policies and you can look them up. Donald Trump does not have policies.
Oh,
Not
there we
except for
go.
the
That's what
plan.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, and we say, I mean, this is nothing new. We talk about this all the time. He
Yeah.
doesn't have,
I agree
he
with
does
you.
not have, his policy, in 2016, his policy for Iraq was taking Iraq's oil by using U.S. soldiers to surround the oil fields
That's right.
and extract the oil somehow and bring it to America. I mean, literally, and I was like, that's not a thing. So that's been going on now. That's
What you just did, what you just did is what I would like to hear more pundits do, because a lot of times we ask,
But
he's
ask
a host.
answers.
All right,
like
but
we say,
let me-
we
right,
say
but-
things like,
but let me
"Do
tell
you
you-
think Donald Trump is a fascist?" Like I think we kind of got
But
enough
you know
evidence
what?
to know the answer.
I'm not a pundit. I'm not interested. I don't think my opinion is particularly interesting for viewers out there. I'm interested in
I disagree.
Well, okay, you can quibble with
I
it.
disagree.
See, that's the thing. Charlamagne and Angela Rye are trying to get Anderson Cooper to make his analysis more opinion based, right? And when you're giving your opinions, then you are using things like he is a fascist, which is an opinion, right? That could be subjective based off of anybody who's watching Donald Trump. People could look at things that Donald Trump has done and they're like, yeah, I don't really think that that's fascism. Some people could look at it and be like, well, it is fascism. Regardless, right, that is a subjective opinion, right? And so Anderson Cooper is saying, I really don't want to come up here just, that's probably why people don't trust the media now, is because they're giving a bunch of opinions instead of just stating the facts pattern as they are. And I think Charlamagne and Angela in their black brulee coat is trying to just drill him. You need to just give your opinions about Donald Trump, and this whole network need to be focused on giving opinions and just talking about Donald Trump, how he is. And so they are really looking for the character assassination of Trump. They need more of that. That's what it sounds like to me.
But I believe in asking questions and probing people's arguments and trying to reveal people's arguments, what's true and what's not. And
He's trying to be a
I'm not on
journalist. He
MSNBC
really
for a
is.
reason. I'm not on some other network for a reason. I'm on CNN because I want to talk to Republicans. I want to talk to Democrats, and I want to learn from them. I don't think I have the answers. I'm willing to change my mind. People can convince me of stuff all the time. I'm not a
He's
I don't
looking
know why
mad
I'm talking
attacked.
about
He's
myself.
like,
I
oh
don't
my
know.
God.
No, but Anderson,
But my
I
point
want
is,
to tell you this.
I think what we're doing here is important because
It
I
is
do
so
think in this
important.
country where, you know what, I got so many, I don't look at comments about myself, but I was looking up some comments about my grief podcast, and I came across this whole inundation from people who are Harris supporters saying to me online today, like, how dare you, what a betrayal that you would ask her these questions.
No,
And
this
I'm
is your
like,
job.
you misunderstand what my job is. I'm not on MSNBC, and no disrespect, what they do is
No, Anderson, we're going to keep it real. He started that town hall off with Kamala Harris talking about Donald Trump, and they basically stayed there the whole way. That was a missed opportunity for him to kind of go back on Harris. But it's kind of weird because Charlamagne is bitching about the fact that they're not talking about Kamala Harris and her policies. They're like, you're not talking trash about Donald Trump enough. Like, that's really the quote that I'm hearing. It's like, forget about Kamala Harris. So, Joe Rogan, nobody cares about that, right? You need to be talking about Trump and how he's a fascist. It's like, no, we need to be talking about your candidate. Why don't you want him talking about your candidate? Like, y'all have talked about Trump enough, actually. That's kind of one of the things that I hear a lot of people saying is, why can't she stop talking about Donald Trump? Really, Charlamagne doesn't need CNN to talk about Donald Trump because Kamala Harris does a great job doing that every damn place she goes.
very talented. But I don't watch it. I'm not interested in watching what these overpaid, blow-dried
Okay.
I like that you said that, but I will just say in this moment, some of what we're talking about tonight, Anderson, is not actually an opinion at all. It is just the facts. And you are one of the most trusted voices on television. And it is important in those moments where you know those conversations devolve into nonsense, particularly on the other side of the aisle. Their conspiracy theory, they won't even say her name right. That has to be checked in the moment, because
She
that
won't
is
even
what
say her
fascism
damn
looks like.
name
That
right.
is how
When
we
she was
start
running for
sliding
Senate,
down
I
these
swear to
very
God,
slippery
she was
slopes, and we
not the
cannot
same
afford to
one.
be here.
She was
The election
Kamala.
is 12 days away,
Kamala
and this
Harris.
should not be even
Now
what is
she
on the
Kamala.
ballot, but democracy's on the line. That is not a
Cam
partisan
and
issue.
Ka.
It is the truth. And I think that's what's important for cable news networks in particular to be saying, whether you're
Kamala.
on Fox, you're on
She done
CNN, or
said
you're
her
on
name like
MSNBC.
12
For all
different
of us, that is
times.
our responsibility and our patriotic duty.
And now that I know you can literally call bullshit,
Literally.
That was dumb. That was really, really dumb. CNN basically had two black looking people on there, like, get on here and complain about us. Like, this was the dumbest interview ever. I mean, why are they doing pointless things? Like, these people have no creativity. They obviously have nothing. They obviously have nothing for them to even have Charlamagne up there just bitching and whining. For what? For what? I mean, her whole party is turning against her. And I'm not a Chris Christie fan, but Chris Christie is right. He said 10 days ago, if you would have asked me, he felt like she probably had a shot. But he's like, now, he said this was not a good week for her. It wasn't a good week because I think a lot of people saw the puppetry, right? It was just getting too obvious. She's too redundant. She's too repetitive. This is not about voting for a woman, right? I'll vote for a woman if she's qualified, if she has some conviction and some character, right? I look at some of these broads that are women in power, some of these like white women in power. Some of these chicks are not shy, right? They have their supremacy on their back, obviously. But then you got other women, like not even the white women, like Ursula Burns, right? Ursula Burns is a perfect example of a sharp black woman, right? Very sharp black woman. I don't think Ursula Burns, well, she's Panamanian, immigrant type one, but we'll give her one for the team. But here's the thing. She has a conviction about her that Kamala doesn't have, right? There's like when what people want to say strong black woman, I think we got to start being more specific, right? Because the strong black woman to me is not every type of woman, right? The strong black woman, like I said, it's a different type of spirit. It's a different type of vibe and soul. You cannot emulate it. You cannot puppet it. You cannot puppet black people like that. You can tokenize them. You can tokenize them for sure. But like to me, a real life foundational black American woman, she's not going to be puppeted. She's not. And this is why they say black people are hard to deal with. We're not hard to deal with. Real foundational black Americans, we're hard to puppet. We're hard to puppet. You can't just sit there thinking that you're going to have a yes and massa with us because we're over that. That's why they're using these black looking immigrant looking people to pass as black people, right? So that they can feel like they're still puppeting a black looking person. They're not doing that to black Americans. They're doing that to people like Kamala Harris. They're doing that to people like Kamala Harris who can be leveraged. Who can be leveraged. So let me know what you guys think about this. Charlamagne the God just needs to take the rest of the political cycle off. Him and Angela Rye and all the black brulee, because you guys failed this political cycle. And maybe they didn't calculate the Tariq Nasheeds. Because shoot, I didn't even pay attention to Tariq Nasheed until like a year ago. Right? But maybe they didn't expect the Tariq Nasheeds and just the FBAs to be just mad vocal this time around. And it's not even about the fact that Kamala Harris is a woman. I really think it's just, about the fact that we're tired of the Democrats propping these black looking people, and they're not foundational black Americans. They're not Ados Freeman. And you're saying this is the first black this, the first black that. They're not going to give Ados Freeman our flowers. They're not going to give us our flowers. So we just going to have to keep rejecting their tethers. Anyways, shout out to all my Ados Freemen, the independent ones. We love you. We love you. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye. Oh, I guess I should read some comments. I'm jealous. Jealous of who? I don't want to be in the political swamp, honey. You have to want to be where somebody is at to be jealous of them. So they're there. Your cope is real, but that's not true. Let's see. I always have these passionately ignorant Democrat people. Ain't nobody jealous of Kamala Harris. How about instead of making it about race, I don't think anything I said made it about race. A white person isn't supreme. A white person isn't supremacy to us. I know that's true. I believe that not all white people are supremacists. Some of them can't even be supremacists because they're just that poor and ignorant. The privilege and supremacy train, kind of missed some of them. Black Americans can vote for whoever they want, just like anyone else. Don't feel pressure to follow anyone's agenda. Amen. Amen. A lot of black people feel like that. So, I mean, my chats are full of mixtures of people. I don't care if you support Kamala. I don't care if you support Trump. My whole thing is just don't punk other people into making a political decision. People are going to go with who they know. Like I said, the devil that they know. And that's just is what it is. Big ups to all of my people. You can tell I'm homeschooling. I do supplemental homeschooling just so that, I keep the kids fresh. They want us partnering with the schools. How about Candace Owens? I don't really think about Candace Owens on a good day. I don't follow a lot of that like investigative stuff that she's doing, like I said, because she's painting a narrative for white people. That's not for black people because we know that Kamala Harris is not foundationally black American because she's not a descendant of slaves. She's a product of immigrants. And so she's not black. And that's not racist. That's just culturally factual. You said there is no God. Well, that goes with, if you feel like there's no God, then why do you have to go and say it? That kind of goes without saying if you truly believe that, don't you think? Anyways, you guys, I am about to get off. Shabbat Shalom. I believe in my God. I believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I believe in the God that is going to be executing judgment upon this earth. I believe in that God. I believe in the timeline of mankind that Brother Daniel shared with us in his prophecy and Brother John co-signed in his revelation. I believe in that. I believe in the signs of the times, right? I believe that, mankind is coming to a head in their conflicts on this earth, and I do believe that there's going to be a lot of war in mankind's future. But that's just, what I believe. But because I believe in God, I'm not worried about none of it because I expect to have protection. Anyways, y'all better get that lamb's blood. My true believers know what I'm talking about. If you got that lamb's blood, don't even worry about it, right? Don't even worry about it. Let the lemmings see the devastation and all the fear inspiring stuff. But, anyways, hi, my name is Yeshua. He is the Holy. Oh, I'm sorry. His name is Yeshua. Yeah, Yeshua, the King, Yahusha's son. I believe God's judgment will be just and soon. It will. Amen. Amen. I tell people all the time when I think about mankind today and how, the inclination of man has kind of progressively gotten worse, I kind of reflect. I used to, as a kid, when I was studying with my elders, I felt like, I couldn't understand why God would kill the kids in the flood. Like, because you're a kid. You're like, God even killed the kids? You know? But now I understand why it's necessary. And why all of those people needed to be wiped out. Because when you think about just the inclination of people doing things that God overtly hurt, hate, and even these people programming their children to do things that God overtly hates. Unfortunately, that is a situation where the sons will fall by the sins of their fathers too. So that's why only Noah and his family survived. And, if you're ever just curious, like I said, check out where all of the dinosaur fossils, most of the dinosaur fossils were found. And you're going to find that they were found mostly in the United States and China, like I said. Those dinosaurs are Nephilim, right? When you want to talk about the residuals of the Great Flood and the Nephilim, dinosaurs and dragons were Nephilim, right? And they know they have fossils of those giant humans as well. But if they were to bring out the giant human fossils, what that would do is co-sign the Bible. They work very hard in proving that the Bible was not true. So what they'll do is paint prehistoric times, the days of the dinosaurs, right? And they will say that it's prehistoric time, but really it was the days of the flood. It was the days before the flood. It was in Noah's days. Prehistoric times were Noah's days. This is when you did have spiritual sons who were taking the form of men, but they weren't just taking the form of men, they were procreating with animals too. They were creating bestiality. This is where you got these abnormally large animals as well. I encourage people to read the book of Enoch. And the reason why I tell people to don't start your Bible study in the book of Genesis, because that book is a watered down piece of just, to me, nothing. It's literally whoever decided to write, because I don't even think that the book of Genesis was really just somebody summarized the entire book of Enoch. That's why Genesis leaves you with a bunch of nothingness, right? But it's not until you get to the book of Enoch that you get so much more clarity, right? Even down to the conflict of Cain and Abel, Enoch gives way more detail of the conflicts of those brothers, right? And it was beyond just jealousy. It was it was the situation of, a user and a taker. Cain was a user, Abel was a taker. I'm sorry, Abel was a taker. No, Abel was not either one of those, right? He was the guy who was in line with God, and Cain was a user and a taker. And it was a lot. I just think that people should start reading the book of Enoch. And I think it will make so much more things come together in the Bible for you. because I think Enoch focuses on what I think the clergy people in the world did not want mankind to center on. Because, like, if you can just see what's before you, then that's all you're going to believe. So if somebody tells you angels and demons, right, you're just going to think that these are fantasies, these are not real, right? People will believe in aliens before they believe in fallen angels that actually do exist among us. Some people want to call them Anunnaki. They're fallen angels. They're fallen angels. They were rejects. And their damnation was to be here on earth with the very beings that they hated, right? And if you read the book of Enoch, I think that the clarity that mankind gets is that we were actually created more supreme than the angels. And the conflict in heaven really wasn't just about God created Adam. It was the fact that Adam was created with an ability to do something that God did not create angels to do, and that is to procreate. That's why abortion and procreation, and anti-God rhetoric, that is so popular, because the greatest gift that God gave to mankind was procreations. The angels had to steal that gift. They had to manipulate that gift with evil covenants. So this is why they came down and created, the Nephilim and all these little weird ass animals and stuff. But that is just to say, if you read really the conflict in heaven, you have the chief archangel Michael. When Adam was created, he tells all of the spiritual sons, behold, right, this fleshly man, come and exalt them. Why did he want the angels to exalt a fleshly man? Because really they're designed to be protectors, right? They have roles, they maintain the divine balance. And um obviously Lucifer was like, why should we exalt them? Like, they should be exalting us, right? And so that really is the conflict of man and spirit. It's like that, when you're talking about supremacy wars on earth and amongst mankind, really it's about the right to rule mankind. Who has the right to rule mankind? Is it a God? Is it an opposer to the God? Is it mankind themselves? This is our ongoing conflicts in the world. And so when we talk about supremacy and division, these things are kind of here to stay until the good Lord comes and reconciles the hearts of men and weed them out of this earth. But that's kind of what we're dealing with when we're dealing with each other. But I got to get back into doing my live stream Bible studies, and I'm gonna start doing that after this political cycle, because some of y'all need to revisit Jesus. Even some of the Jesus folks, y'all just looking mad demonic right now, just praising these fleshly men, putting your hopes and dreams in them, when you should be worried about God's kingdom that will come on this earth as it is in heaven. All we got to do is just wait for all these people to just start busting their nukes, because that's basically what's going to happen. That's basically what's going to happen. I feel like Russia is going to be the fire starter, but I feel like they're going to be forced to be the fire starter. And after that, it's just going to be some interesting things. I don't think we should be playing with Russia. I don't think that we should be playing with Russia. You ever hear of the kamikaze mindset? Like, I used to hang out with a lot of Russians in high school, or not high school, college. They were exchange students. And be honest with you, I rocks with Russian people. I like them a lot. They are very straightforward, very passionate people, but they really don't like to be messed with. Like, you're not just about to antagonize a Russian person, at least the ones that I saw. and just think that you're going to get away with it. It was so funny because I was like, I have a really good friend out here, Slava, and we always talk about stuff. I was trying to get my son to go to his boxing gym because he was getting bullied last year. He started kindergarten and he convinced me. He's like, no, 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 don't send your son to the boxing gym because they'll get in his head and they'll kind of make him a loose cannon. You don't want that. So, but really, really good guy. And we were just kind of sitting on his porch one day. We were just talking. And he's like, Russians are a lot like black people. And I didn't, and when I thought about it, it's like, yeah, that's kind of true though. They're very passionate, very, very passionate. I mean, for the most part, they sweet people, hospitable, right? But just don't cross lines with them, right? Just don't cross that line. Like, don't come over with that fake stuff, right? Because it's like, what do they call it? Like suka? What do they call it? Like, you don't want to do that, right? Don't do that. But I like Russian people. I think they're good people. It's unfortunate that we have all these conflicts in the world because it does really keep us away from each other and getting to know each other culturally, right? I don't even think we can even go visit Russia. So I'll probably never see any of the Russian people I know ever again, right? And I really did want to visit Russia. That was one of my places I wanted to visit. But now I guess we can't visit Russia, right? So there it is. This is what happened when governments start hating each other. Their people can't see each other, kick it with each other. It's just sad. I pray for world peace. I really do. I pray for peace on this earth. And I pray that God brings it. And I pray that mankind receives it. Right? Because sometimes when you're so used to chaos, peace is almost like a shock to you. So I pray that people will start preparing their minds for more peaceful energies, positive energies, right? And really start to get back to coexisting, right? I hate the political cycles. I hate them, right? And it's like, I know some people come over here and they want me to have a loyalty to this side or that side. I really hate both sides indiscriminately. I hate them. Well, I hate the Democrats a little more, but that's just because of their special interests, demonizing black people. But I hate it now. I think that American politics is nothing like I thought it was. I thought that there was some level of integrity to the system, but I think once you get to know the system, it's like this nation is corrupt. The people are corrupt. The people leading it are corrupt. They're nepotistic and they don't care about nobody but themselves. And that's just 100. Your government doesn't care about you. They care about them and their crew and their people. So you got to care about you and you got to keep your prayers up. And I just feel like at this point, people do not have anything to lose just thinking about trusting in God and just giving God a chance. Just giving the Most High, Yahuwah. God has a name. God has a name. His son is Yeshua, and he is Yahuwah. And when you are very specific about the God of Abraham and that being your God, you're going to see protection. You're going to see protection, and it's never going to come unless you start that relationship. And a lot of times how I tell my kids is like, God, I can't see you, but I know you exist. And I just, and if you can, feel me, see me, all I ask for you is to give me strength and direction. That's what I do. I ask for strength and direction. And I'm telling you, stuff just start working out. It's insane. Like, I am a testimony of God's goodness, but you got to be aligned with what you ask for. You can't be out here eating at the table of demons and eating at the table of God. You can't do that, right? You have to learn how to disown yourself. And disowning yourself is, you have to do what the Apostle Paul says, where you got to get tough with yourself. He said, I had to cleanse myself of every defilement of the flesh and the spirit, right? He said, I pummeled my body and I led it as a slave. So if you're a man and you have uncontrollable sexual desires, guess what Brother Paul is telling you? You got to get tough with yourself. And it's for your best interest that you have more discipline in your body, anyways. But you got to get tough with yourself, right? Because it's ungodly to be promiscuous. It's ungodly to share your temple with just anybody. And even if you want to remove God from it, look at what Satan's world shows us what happens when you just out here raw dogging it, disrespecting your temple with any and everybody, right? The consequences are there, right? And I remember when I was growing up, they were like, abstinence. That's the safest way to avoid all of this. It's true. It's true, but abstinence requires discipline. Abstinence and celibacy requires somebody saying that I don't need to be on the bandwagon of what everybody else is doing, and that I am going to choose to respect the temple that is my body. Ladies, you're not letting every Tom, Dick, and Harry enter your body, your temple, right? It's too many ships coming up some of you sisters' seas, and it's unfortunately because a lot of you guys are getting diseases. A lot of you are walking around hot and burning like hell because you don't respect the temple that is your body, you know? So that's it. I didn't mean to go into the spiritual stuff. Usually I like to separate the spiritual stuff, but sometimes when God's spirit is working with me, it's working with me. And it's like, tell these people what they need to hear. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. But, anyways, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I will catch you guys on the next one. And happy Shabbat Sabbath to those of you who observe. Bye.